So December 15 has just passed, and more than half the league right now is eligible to be traded. So in today's video, I'm going to rank the 10 best players that I feel are going to have the best chance at getting traded at this year's deadline. So there is some players that we think could get traded, but they haven't been made available to be traded yet. Guys like Kyle Lowry, D'Angelo Russell, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, they all could get traded. Yes, it makes sense, but the teams haven't made them available yet. So I'm going to rank the 10 best players that have been made available for teams to trade for. Either this was reported by Woj or a team's beat reporter. Either way, they have been rumored that they are going to be available in trade talks, and I'm going to rank them 10 to 1. Coming in at number 10 on this list is Malik Beasley. So Malik Beasley is 23 years old, and he is set to be a restricted free agent this upcoming offseason. He's only making $2.7 million this year, so his contract will be easy to trade for. In 2018-19 was by far the best year of his career. He averaged 11 points a game, 2.5 rebounds, and shot 40% on threes on 5 attempts a game. He played 23 minutes a night and was a big part of the Nuggets' success last year. But this year, he hasn't played as much. In 18 games, he's averaging about 16 minutes a night and only taking about 6 shots a game. He's shooting 38% from the field, but he is shooting 41% from 3 on 3 attempts a game. Only averaging 6 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound this year. His value is at an all-time low. I think if the Nuggets were looking to trade him going into the year, they definitely could have got like a late first for him, kind of like how the Nuggets got Jeremy Grant from OKC. But due to Beasley's uneventful start to the 2019-20 season, I think a team could get him for about 2 second-round picks. So coming in at number 9 is Julius Randle. So Steve Popper, who covers the Knicks for Newsday, reported that the Knicks are making Julius Randle available in trade talks this upcoming deadline. Julius Randle had a really good 2018-19 season and received a 2-year, $36 million deal from the New York Knicks with a team option on a 3rd year for about $20 million. So he's making $18 million this year, about $19 million next year, and then about $20 million in 2022. His points per game have gone down from 21 to 17 this year. His rebounds and assists have about stayed the same, but his turnovers have gone up, and most notably, his shooting percentages have gone down. He's shooting 45% from the field in comparison to 53% last year. He's shooting 26% on threes in comparison to 34% last year, and he is shooting 67% from the line compared to 73% last year. He's still only 25. He's a really good offensive player. I just think that the Knicks are misusing him, and they're making him a ball handler when he shouldn't be whatsoever. The Knicks really don't use him in the pick and roll, and they do a lot of iso ball with him, and I think a young team that could look for a forward that thinks he could fit their system would be a good acquisition, but I just don't really see a lot of teams going after Julius Randle at the deadline, and I don't think he gets traded from the Knicks. So I have a tie here at number 8, and I have 2 OKC players. First one is Steven Adams. So the Thunder pretty much made everybody available in trade talks in their starting lineup, or at least Chris Paul, Steven Adams, and Danilo Gallinari, with Dennis Schroeder being available off the bench. Steven Adams, though, doesn't have a good contract whatsoever that teams would be enticed to trade for. He's making about $26 million this year and then $27.5 million next year. He's averaging about 11 points and 10 rebounds a night. He's still a really good rim protector. It's just going to be hard for teams to trade for him due to his salary. He's 26. He'll be a free agent when he's 28, and I think a team could definitely get him on a good price. I could see him getting about 10 to 15 million on his next contract. The reason he's making so much money now is because he signed that long extension during 2016, which was the big summer where every team was spending. I think he could definitely help a contender and get them a really good rim protector. I just don't see many trying to trade for him due to his salary. And the player I have tied with Steven Adams is his teammate Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder is having a really good season off the bench for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's played 26 games this year, hasn't started one. He's averaging 17 points, 3.5 assists, and 3.5 rebounds a night. He's shooting 47% from the field, 35% from 3 on 5 attempts a night, and he's also shooting 82% from the line. He's a really good backup point guard and could really provide a contending team with good offensive bench help. I would like to see a team, maybe Utah, go after him. It's just hard to match his salary since he's making $15.5 million a year for the next 2 seasons. I think Utah could get to his salary, maybe X him in a first round pick, maybe X him in 2 seconds, and the Thunder will still take that. So like Steven Adams, Dennis Schroeder could definitely help out a contending team. I just don't know if he'll get traded due to his large salary. The next player on this list coming in at the number 7 spot has yet to miss the playoffs, and you could probably already guess who that player is. It's JJ Redick. So reports from New Orleans said that everybody on the Pelicans is available in trade talks except for Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. JJ Redick can still help a contender who needs spacing on the floor. In his age 35 season, he's averaging 16 points a game, 3 rebounds, and his main asset, he's shooting 46% from 3 on 7 attempts a night. He might be a contending team's #1 priority at this trade deadline, and his contract is somewhat tradable. He's making $13.5 million this year, $13 million next year. I would like to see a team like Philadelphia go after him, but I just don't know if they would bring back Redick, and they would probably have to give up Zaire Smith, who was their first round pick from 2018. Teams like Milwaukee, Miami, Dallas, I would love to see JJ Redick on. It's just going to be hard for some of these teams to match the salary. Houston as well. It's just going to be hard to get to JJ Redick's $13 million, but let's see if he gets traded, and he's going to come in at number 7 on this list. So speaking of good three-point shooters, this player is having a crazy three-point shooting season, and that is Marcus Morris. So Marcus Morris is going to come in at number 6, and he is shooting 48% from 3 on 6 attempts a night. He's averaging 19 points, 6 rebounds for a bad New York Knicks team. I don't think he could be this good for a contender. Obviously, his volume will go down. He's taking 14 shots a night. That would obviously go down to the 5 to 9 range, or maybe he could still be in double digits depending what team he would get traded to. Apparently, the Clippers are interested in him. Apparently, they tried to sign him to a 3-year, $45 million contract in the offseason, but he decided to choose San Antonio, and then obviously he decided to change his mind there and go to the Knicks. But yeah, a team that is looking for three-point shooting off the bench, solid defender, nothing great, veteran leadership, Marcus Morris could be their guy. Coming in at number 5 is a player that has not played once this season, and that is Andre Iguodala. Memphis wants to trade him really badly, and they don't want to buy him out. They want to get an asset for him, and I think he could help a team like the Lakers or the Mavericks with a elite defender that could play 15 minutes a night on a team's best player and help them get over the top. Now, Iguodala is making $17 million, so it's hard to get to that salary, but a team like the Dallas Mavericks can trade the Courtney Lee expiring and the Warriors second round pick they own, which could be like pick 31, 32, 33, and I think the Grizzlies would accept that. He's got championship experience, he's a leader, and I think he could help out a young team like Dallas. Coming in at number 4 is Danilo Gallinari. Now, Gallinari might be the most likely person to get traded in this video. He's averaging 18 points this season, and he is shooting 39% on threes on 7 attempts a game. He's also shooting 92% from the line on 5 attempts a night. He could be a floor spacer. He's not a great defender, but he could definitely help out a contending team on the offensive end. He's making $22.5 million this year, and very few teams can match that salary, but a team like Portland could definitely use his floor spacing, and maybe they could give up Bazemore, Whiteside, in a first or a second. Coming in at number 3 is Kevin Love. Now, Kevin Love is going to be insanely hard to trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers due to their wants for Kevin Love in return and due to his contract. Kevin Love is 31, and he's making $29 million this year, $31 million next year, $31 million in 2022, and then $29 million in 2023. He will be making $32 million when he's 35 years old. Kevin Love is still a good player. He's still a good floor spacer, and apparently, though, the Cavs want a first-round pick in return, and I don't think they're going to get that for Love. A team might go after Danilo Gallinari, who's kind of the similar player, similar play style, space the floor, not a great defender, and could probably get him for a lot cheaper. So I think Kevin Love is the 3rd best player in this video, but I don't think he'll get traded at this trade deadline. Now, coming in at number 2 is the final OKC player on this list, and that is Chris Paul. So Chris Paul is actually having still another very good year, a top 10 point guard type season. He is 34, and obviously his contract is what's the biggest flaw about him at this moment, but he is averaging 16 points, 6.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, and he's led the Thunder to be actually somewhat respectable this year. They are 13 and 14, 7th in the Western Conference. A team like Miami or Minnesota would love a Chris Paul. It's just that he's making $38.5 million this year, $41 million next year, and then $44 million the following season. So yeah, he'll be making $44 million when he's 37 years old. That's a big turnoff to a lot of NBA teams, actually probably every NBA team. So coming in at number 1 on this list is somebody that recently became available in trade talks, and that is Jrue Holiday, the New Orleans Pelicans. So like JJ Redick, he falls into that category of not Brandon Ingram or Zion Williamson. So the Pelicans will listen to offers for Jrue Holiday, their best player at the moment. Maybe he's not having the best statistical season on the team. Maybe that goes to Brandon Ingram, but he's still the best two-way player on that team and one of the better two-way players in the league. He's averaging about 20 points a game this year, 7 assists, so he's a very good combo guard. He's shooting 34% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a night, which is a little bit below average, but he makes up for it for his inside attacking and his amazing defense. He's making $26 million this year, next year, and has a $27 million player option in 2022. I would love to see a team like Denver go after him. I don't think he would cost too much, maybe a young player and a first-round pick, and then imagine they had Jamal Murray, Drew Holiday, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic as their core for this season. That'd be amazing. I don't know if that can get them over the hump of one of the LA teams and beating them in a 7-game series, but it could definitely make them more respectable and give them a better shot at defeating one of the LA teams in the playoffs. I would really like to see Denver, like I said, go after him. I tweeted about it. I think when Jamal Murray is off, Nikola Jokic really can't take over the game on the offensive end. They could use that other scorer, that secondary scorer, and I think Drew Holiday could be their guy. Yeah, so those are the 10 best players ranked from 10 to 1 that have been made available in trade talks. Let me know the top 3 you think are most likely to be traded from the 10 that I said. Well, I really said 11. Those 11 are Malik Beasley, Julius Randle, Steven Adams, Dennis Schroeder, JJ Redick, Marcus Morris, Andre Iguodala, Danilo Gallinari, Kevin Love, Chris Paul, and Drew Holiday. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know if there's another player on this list that I should have put here that should have been in this top 10 that's made available. But yeah, guys like Bogdanovic, Lowry, D'Lo, Blake Griffin, etc., they haven't been really made available. Yeah, it would make sense for their teams to trade them, but they haven't suggested it in doing so far. So yeah, that is gonna be for me. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.